Welcome in, ladies and gents. We are live from the Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. It is the Hy-Vee Homestretch, and we got a full show for you here for the next hour live from your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. And as always, we're starting the show with the store director here at your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, Cleet Yorth. Cleet, how's it going, man?
Awesome, Emery. How you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. It is the 31st of August. We have a lot of deals to talk about, not only for the month of August, or September, I guess, but we can also talk about some things that are happening tonight, including this fantastic dinner. As I walked in, Ben was on the grill cooking them up. Fantastic stuff that you have on here. Take me through all the details and how much it costs for people to eat here tonight for another hour.
So it's a delicious dinner. It's dine in or carry out. We're serving it till 7 o'clock. We're doing an 8-ounce New York strip, jumbo baked potato, a veggie, and Texas toast for $8.
All right,
Incredible
so you can't beat that. And as you walk by there, you'd figure it's at least $8 just for the meat, but you get all this extra on top of it. So that's really cool. You have until 7 o'clock to come out and do that. Other than that, Cleet, before we get into your September deals, which start tomorrow, you also are telling me you have a nice weekend sale that's coming up here as well.
So, I guess since they both start tomorrow, we've got a 2-day sale that starts tomorrow. We're just going to start right at the top because the September deals are the ones that I think get people the most excited. So to start it off, we've got a great back-to-school item. We have General Mills cereals, just 3 for $5. We have red seedless grapes, just 88 cents a pound. Oscar Mayer hot dogs, just 99 cents. If you're looking to fire up the grill, we're doing 8-ounce New York strips for only $3.99 each. So at that price, pretty much you can do steak night every night. In addition to that, we've got Cottonelle double rolls. They're $3.99 for a 12-count package. We've got 24-pack Hy-Vee water for $1.78. And then, last but not least, 24 packs of Busch Light for just $13.99.
Wow. Okay. So that is an awful lot. And you had to spend a lot of time memorizing all that, but you have another big chunk of deals that are going to be tossed into that this weekend. So let's see how the old brain's working again here. What do we have coming up on this 2-day sale?
For the 2-day sale, I can encourage everybody to take a look at our Facebook page or look in the shopper for these deals, but just a couple quick highlights. With it being a Labor Day weekend, folks grilling, we're doing buy 8 hamburger patties, get 8 brats for free. Wow. We're also doing buy 10 bottles of Gatorade, get 5 of them for free. 12 packs of Pepsi, $1.99 each. And then we're doing what we call kind of throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. And for every $50 you spend, you're going to save 25 cents a gallon on fuel. So stellar deals, the hottest prices in town. And then we're putting Fuel Saver on top of it.
I'm just a little confused at how you're going to stay with any inventory whatsoever after this weekend, Cleet, because those are a little bit more ridiculous than I was expecting.
Yeah, so we get a truck every Thursday night, and it wouldn't all fit on one tonight.
Oh, so my goodness, that is
making room in back.
Gonna definitely have to make some room, and I'll be one of many, I'm sure, that'll take advantage of some of these deals coming up this weekend. So on top of that, must mention the fact that we'll have another show next Thursday, and that means another dinner next Thursday as well. What's going to be on the menu next Thursday?
It's one we haven't actually done for a little while, but we're doing the boneless smoked pork chop, big baked potato as usual, the veggies, and a dinner roll for only $5. Dinner's done.
I just don't know how you can go wrong with this. I mean, every single thing that you say, Cleet, it's just almost like you're just encouraging people to come here and try to spend as little money as possible for as much as possible.
It's great savings. It's when I look at it in the ad and look at it on paper, I'm like, man, these are some awesome deals.
This is the kind of business model I would have as a customer. So fantastic stuff. And by the way, $8 for tonight, another hour to enjoy that New York strip dinner and all the other amazing things that go with it. Cleet, as always, you're a madman. Thanks so much for talking to me, and we'll see you next week.
All right, have a great night, Emery.
All right, that is Cleet Yorth. He is a store director here at your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, and we have a full show for you here on the Hy-Vee Homestretch. Later on in the show, we'll be talking William Penn University football. Their defensive coordinator, Clayton Norberg, will be joining me. We'll talk William Penn University soccer as Michael Conchi, one of the graduate assistants, will be here as well. We, earlier this week, had an opportunity to talk to Oskaloosa football coach Jake Jenkins. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, we'll talk Oskaloosa volleyball. Their head coach, Jennifer Comfort, and senior Josie Bennell will be joining me right after the break on the Hy-Vee Homestretch right here on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today. Save big at Hy-Vee on everything you need for Labor Day weekend. Get 8 brats free when you buy 8 hamburgers. Ground beef only $1.99. Hy-Vee hamburger or hot dog buns just 68 cents. Family-size Lay's or kettle-cooked chips just $1.48. And bags of Bugles, Chex Mix, or Gardettos only $1. For these great deals and hundreds more, visit HyVeeDeals.com. If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
We are back here live at your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee and the Hy-Vee Homestretch, and we're going to start out with Oskaloosa High School volleyball, and I'm being joined by their head coach Jennifer Comfort and a senior volleyball player Josie Bennell. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Josie, how's it going?
Good.
All right. Coach, first things first, season is now underway. I talked to you before the season started. You guys got off to a good start, a couple of home wins against Carlisle and Colfax Mingo. Then you guys had an opportunity to play a couple of games recently, including a conference game against Pella Christian, a team ranked in the top 10 in Class 2A, and they are obviously a very good team, and they showed that on Tuesday. 4 games in the books. Are you guys about where you were hoping you guys would be here in the early going?
Yeah, I think we are. I think we might even be a couple steps ahead of where I thought we would be. We've really gotten after it the last couple weeks in practices. So the girls put a lot of work into preseason, and I was really impressed with their improvement. The seniors have really stepped up their leadership, and that has made a big difference. We've had a bunch of younger girls also come along really well, and they've just really bought in and gotten after it and competed really well.
All right. Well, one thing that I can tell you is that it's really interesting. You do have a couple of juniors mixed in there, but it is a lot of seniors and then a lot of sophomores on this varsity team getting a lot of reps, even at the junior varsity level. Josie, as a senior for this team, and you've been a 4-year starter now on in this volleyball program. So far this season, how has it been for you in the preparation and having such a mix of underclassmen and upperclassmen here so far in this 2017 season?
This year has been really fun. Like, I love this team so much. We have so much fun together, and everybody just puts out all they have at every practice, every game. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I'll just keep it with you here for a second. For your preparation, knowing this is your senior year, did you approach this year any differently, knowing that, this is one last chance to try to get to that last step instead of getting to a regional final, now an opportunity maybe to go to state?
I mean, I always tell myself that, like, just work hard every practice, but this year I was like, this is the team, I need to go in looking at this as like, I love this team. I want to be with this team, I don't know. So just like playing as a team this year, really.
And you've had an opportunity, obviously, to taste a lot of success with volleyball as well as softball as well. Coach, you've gotten to a few regional finals now in recent years and been able to, even teams that were underdogs a lot of times finding ways to get into that last game before getting to state. You have a conference now when you look at Pella Christian, you look at teams like Indianola, Pella's really good. These are going to be teams that are going to give you tests that are not going to be that different than maybe a team you would see in a regional final potentially in the postseason. So how are you kind of approaching this conference season that we'll be seeing you every Tuesday night as you try to, get into that upper half of this conference and try to get yourselves ready for regional play in a couple of months?
We just go out every Tuesday night looking for a win, and we're going to be in a fight every Tuesday night. And we know that I've told the girls many times you only have to win by 2 points. You got to win 3 out of 5. But the big thing is that we just focus on what we can control and what we need to do, and then we just make the other team either adjust to that or we just play along with it. So like Tuesday against Pella Christian, we came out with a good game plan. We're going to serve them tough, get them out of serve receive, expect the ball to go outside. Number 12, clearly. But that's what they did. We were ready for it. At one time, we shifted our defense to a perimeter defense. The girls were like, okay, got it, and they went right into it, and we were able to continue good aggressive play. So I think every night we're just going to go out looking for that win, and but just knowing that we need to continue to get better because it's those games at the end of the season that do truly count.
Well, on the Pella Christian game is interesting because in the first set, it was Becca Horstman, number 12, who was just real conventional, a lot of strong outside hitting. In the second set, she was very quiet. Other players had to beat you, and you guys really came back strong in both those first and second sets, getting close. And then it just felt like all the bounces were going PC's way in that third set, and you guys couldn't quite get it. So from that game, I know a 3-set sit-on loss isn't what you were looking for to start conference play, but how did you feel like the girls did in executing that game plan, even though it didn't turn out the way you wanted to?
I thought that we came in and attacked. I thought that, yes, Horseman is a great player, but I thought our girls stepped up, and they weren't intimidated by it. They said, oh, that's a good player, but we're going to dig, we're still going to serve and pass and play our ball. And I thought that we did. I thought Josie came in very aggressive as well and just matched her for her strengths. We did capitalize in that second game. She was quiet because we kept her in the back row quite a bit. So we got quickly through her front row rotation, sided out, got her back in the back row, and then we went to work. We had the matchups that we wanted, and so that really helped out too. So it's just games like that where we just have to take what we can do and work with it, and the girls just have to just know that we need to execute on our side of the court, and the other team will do what they do, and we need to take care of our side. And what we're working on right now is just finding ways to score points. We're playing some really good volleyball, but we need to terminate points, or we need to get teams so out of balance, or that they're the ones that make the errors. So right now we're really working on that. We have really good rallies. We just need to finish and find ways to score points.
You guys are a scrappy team, and
Definitely.
You guys do find ways to keep points alive, even if it may not look super pretty. And it doesn't give your team an awful lot of opportunities to get those conventional kill opportunities that we saw Horseman get plenty of. And it was really good setting by Heisman as well to set her up. You guys have a good young setter in Jolie Yang, and Josie, you're going to be the biggest beneficiary, kind of leading the team in attacking, but it's always important to kind of have that second option. We saw Pella Christian have a second and a third option when Horseman wouldn't necessarily be in the front. So who are some players in practice so far this season that you think are going to be, that number 2 and number 3 option behind you in terms of attacking, so you're not going to be the only player that the opposition has a focal point on?
Definitely, like Emma Kelderman and Taylor Wills really have stepped up, and our middles actually, because last year I was a middle with Alexis Westerkamp, and clearly she graduated, and this year I'm outside. So Mary Nelson, Emily Richmond, and Bailey Crawford, they kind of all rotate in, and they all do a really good job.
So far, how has it been working with Jolie Yang? I know you had the last couple of years working with, upperclassmen, setter, and Leah Van Manen. What right now so far this season, since you're working with a brand new sophomore? I was talking with a couple of seniors, including Macy Sharf, who said that one of the first things that she thinks is this team, is going to definitely see a lot of improvement from Jolie Yang from the first game to the last game this season, because she's got all the tools. What's it been like working with her as your setter so far this year?
She's doing awesome. Like, I'll tell her, push it out, and she's like, okay. Like, she knows she needs to, and she's trying her best, and she wants to do her best for us, and that's what we need. And she goes for everything. She plays defense. She's awesome.
Well, on top of that, Coach, you have an awful lot of sophomores that are playing in really specific roles for this team, along with a huge group of seniors. A couple of the juniors in there, like I mentioned, but this sophomore class gives people a lot of hope for what you're going to be seeing out there, and a lot of good athletes that aren't even seeing the floor a whole lot. But we'll just start right there with that setter position. What was kind of the conversation that you had, and was Jolie Yang kind of the first person in your mind that you thought was going to take over that setter position, and what has that competition kind of been like? Because that is, a lot of coaches say that's one of the most important spots on the floor.
It definitely is. I've been working with Jolie for about the last 4 years. Even when she was in middle school, she was on some off-season teams that I was coaching. So I really saw her potential early. Last year she was out for quite a bit of the year with a hyperextension of her knee. So it wasn't necessarily injured, it just was irritated pretty badly. So she did a lot of wall work. So we all in the gym knew what she could do. We just needed to see how she would respond to getting on the court. Her biggest thing is just communication. She's a very quiet girl by nature. She doesn't say a whole lot anyway, but we're working on getting her out of her shell. She knows that she's learning the game. She already knows it pretty well, but as she continues to know it better, she'll just excel. Lindsay Holmberg right now is our backup setter, and she's a junior, and she's been setting for JV for the last 2 years, and she just works really hard. She's a great hustler. We've just been really working on her hands and her contact. She put in a lot of work over the summer. She's a great option if we need to go to a 6-2 situation. She's a more vocal leader, but Jolie's got maybe the better hands in decision making right now. That's one thing Lindsay is continuing to work on every day in practice. And then Megan Mormon is a third setter option for us that we've also pulled up to either play defense or setter. And again, those girls share a whole lot of reps in practice, and so these girls are ready if we need to put somebody in or move things around. We feel comfortable with that, and they may not be on the court, but they've definitely benefited us in practice.
All right, well, you guys do have 4 games coming up this Saturday at Cedar Rapids, Washington. Josie, I know these are much different than the conference games or the single games that you guys would play during the week. So can you take us through kind of what you guys do on a Saturday and what a Saturday looks like when you go to these big tournaments?
Saturdays are fun. We usually play like the big schools, and so we go into the tournaments and we say we have nothing to lose, so let's just play. And last year we played Cedar Rapids Xavier, I think it was, yeah, and we beat them the first set, and they were ranked in 5A, I don't know what, but we just went out there and played nothing to lose. And then we played Ankeny Centennial last year at a Southeast Polk tournament, and we almost beat them, and they were ranked #1, and they've won state for 3 years. And that game was so much fun, and we played so well together, and that's why I love these tournaments.
Well, Coach, your preparation for this tournament, and what do you hope to see at the Cedar Rapids, Washington tournament this Saturday?
We talked about it today in practice. We just focus on tough serving, and that's what we're going to do again, just getting those teams out of system. At the beginning of the year, a lot of teams struggle in serve receive. So we feel if we bring our strong serving, we'll get them out of system. We can predict what they're going to do. They won't be in system where they're, all 3 hitters are going to a spot at the same time. We're one-on-one situation. We'll be able to get 2-on-1 because we'll know where that ball's going. And then we're just going to work on keeping all the balls off the floor. We're going to be scrappy. We're going to keep it up. We're just going to play defense, and we're going to get the ball back over to their side. So that's what we're really focusing on right now, and continuing to play as a team, just working on that togetherness, working on the trust that we've been talking about, and just figuring things out as a group.
All right, well, the next game that we'll have is going to be after that. That is going to be when Oskaloosa travels to face Grinnell in Little Hawkeye Conference action coming up next Tuesday night. You can listen to that live on 99.5 FM and AM 740 KMZN and RadioKMZN.com. We'll expect to go live right around 7 o'clock. Shortly after 7 will be the first serve of that one, the second Little Hawkeye Conference game for the Indians. Coach, Josie, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck on Saturday.
Of course, thank you very much.
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, earlier this week, I got a chance to talk to the high school football coach at Oskaloosa High School, Jake Jenkins, and here's an interview that we had with him. That's coming up after the break, right here at HyVeeHomestretch on the No Coast Network.
Save big at Hy-Vee on everything you need for Labor Day weekend. Get 8 brats free when you buy 8 hamburgers. Ground beef only $1.99. Hy-Vee hamburger or hot dog buns, just 68 cents. Family-size Lay's or kettle-cooked chips, just $1.48. And bags of Bugel's Chex Mix or Gardettos, only $1. For these great deals and hundreds more, visit HyVeeDeals.com. If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
Welcome back. We are live here on the Hy-Vee Homestretch, and I'm actually on location at Oskaloosa Middle School, joined by Oskaloosa head football coach Jake Jenkins. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You are obviously a busy guy. That's why we're here in your classroom, and we've been here and done some interviews here as well. But it's always fun at the beginning of another school year to meet some new kids, not only in the classroom but on the football field. How has the first week plus gone for you, just as Coach Jenkins and the teacher, Mr. Jenkins?
Mr. Jenkins. Busy in a good way, though. I tell people all the time, we're busy, but it's fun. I'm getting to know my 8th grade. I have 8th grade students here, so I have 8th graders all day, getting to know them, have a really good group. Excited about that, a lot of positive things. They're excited to be back. So that makes things a lot more fun for me. And then our guys, they've responded well, and we've had a really good week of practice. So we're excited to move forward.
All right, so last week, Pella comes to town, and obviously the record crowd on hand for Lacey Recreation Complex. A couple of big turnovers, but overall, we just can see that Pella has reloaded and retooled and will be another tough out for whoever that they play. But how did you feel about your team's performance, knowing you had so many new pieces on both sides of the ball?
People ask me. It's funny. My kids in class, going back to class, they asked me, did you yell at your guys after the game? I said there really wasn't a lot to yell about. They gave great effort. They did their best. There's just a lot of new faces out there, a lot of new positions, and so they really just need to learn what that game speed looks like. And against Pell, it's going to be a fast game speed. So they're getting used to that varsity feel and a lot of new checks, a lot of new things going in, and so they're getting used to that.
This week has been a little bit different because you've got a full week, not only of school, but you also have an opportunity to take a look at some film from everyone and be able to see what your guys look like on the field in game. It's not a scrimmage, not a practice. You also get a chance to take a look at what your opposition is going to look like. I'm sure Pella came out with a much different look than everybody was expecting from them. So with Grinnell on tab, it's been a rough couple of years for them. You have a guy at quarterback in Seth Howard that knows that team very well, as he played for Grinnell last year. But a team that has struggled. You're a guy that still approaches every game the same. You want to,
for sure.
You don't want to leave anything off the table of discussion. So, what has been the preparation this week, being your first normal week in the middle of the season?
Well, like you said, it's been more normal, which is nice. We got to break down. They played South Tama, and so we have that film in the pool, and they have our film too. And so we'll be able to break them down formationally from a defense perspective. I can look at their formations, and we can tell our guys this is what they're looking to do out of this pro set, 21 personnel, and with this what they're doing out of doubles. So we can go through all those formations and have an idea of what to expect, and then game plan to best of our abilities how to stop those formations. So it's a more normal week with that aspect. We only had one game to break down, which was kind of nice, but really we also got to focus on that and seeing who the new Grinnell is. And I will say they're big boys up front. They're very big, and so they're going to be a big physical team. And there's a lot of respect there. Coach Shipley, he's a good friend of mine, and so playing against him is always fun. It's always a friendly competition, but it's a game we are not taking lightly at all. We're focusing all of our time, effort, and energy and attention on it, and we're going to hopefully get after them and make some huge improvements this week.
Grinnell is not in your district. This is the last time you're going to see somebody that's not in your district.
Correct.
I talked to Coach Jay McKinstry last week, and he said, as much as we'd just like to keep this winning streak going, more than we want to do that, we just want to be able to see what we have and be able to make adjustments for when the games really start mattering in week 3 and beyond. So what are you hoping to see from your team so you can do some last-minute tinkering and adjustments before Fort Madison and district play opens up here in week number 3?
I'd say overall improvement. You want to make those steps. We talked about between week 1 and week 2 and having a true game week 1. I'd like to fix a lot of those mistakes. Alignment issues, guys lined up in the wrong shades, and if they're linebackers that are apex, if they're in the right spot, and offensively too, are we lined up right? Are we coming inside the numbers before we go and get set? Do we have anything extra? Equipment issues. There was a lot of penalties in the first game. We need to fix a lot of those that were our fault, So if we made mistakes, let's fix them, guys, and let's move forward. That's our whole motto, and so we're really looking forward to having a cleaner game on both sides of the ball and just fixing a lot of those mistakes we made the first week.
You guys did fall behind, but it wasn't until the second half that you kind of felt pressure that you had to start moving the ball a little bit faster than you were in the first half. That put the ball in the hands of Seth Howard a little bit more in more pressure situations. He did have the big interception on that slant pattern late in the second quarter, but overall, what did you see from him in his first actual game action as an Indian?
I saw a lot of good things. I thought he was a good leader. I thought he handled himself well. It's not easy going against the opponent we went against the first game, and I thought he did a good job carrying himself and making things happen. So I was excited for that. And then things went south. I was watching him closely and watching other guys closely. And at the end of the game, we go out, shake hands, good luck the rest of the year. Let's try to be first class all the way. And then we run back in the locker room, and then that's where we kind of take the deep breath, and then we talk. I thought he handled himself as a good leader, and I thought he did that well. So I'm not disappointed in the way that he handled himself at all.
We talked about the excitement that you had, especially for the front that your defense had.
Yeah.
Your defense did not have a bad game, especially in that first half of tackling the football, but it seemed like their bruisers, once you made the adjustment on Avery Van Zee, which was noticeable, and Coach McKinstry didn't necessarily take him out of the offense, but he wasn't the factor he was after the first quarter. What was giving you trouble with those fullbacks? Because they were utilizing about 3 different bodies that were able to kind of attack between the tackles. What were you seeing with the way that they were running and trying to overload one side of the field?
Well, in the years past, they use their quarterback to run a lot, and we just got a completely different look. And in the second quarter, we saw an unbalanced set, and that unbalanced set, when they were on the goal line, they scored. And so we were adjusting to that unbalanced set, whether it's shifting or completely doing a different front against them. So we were figuring it out and adjusting kind of on the fly, just as they were adjusting to us on the fly, I'm sure, to new things we were doing. So it was really that unbalanced look, really overloading. It's a numbers game. You know, if they have the numbers on the outside, they're going to run there, and they had some success. So we had a couple of answers for them, and we'd send it at them, and we'd see how that would work. Then we'd try some new things. It's kind of an experiment to see what works best. Overall, just over 300 yards total offense. Our goal is under 250, and that's against any opponent. So I thought we were, you know, fairly close to that goal. And so overall, I felt okay about it. I just wish, you know, that margin was too big. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it was a 28-point game. They made more plays. They won the game fair and square, and they beat us. If we can limit some of those mistakes, it's a closer game. And even in the first half, you know, if we eliminate some of the big mistakes that we made, I think it'd be a completely different game. But that's just where we're at week one, and that's what happened.
14 points directly from turnovers, to either setting it up or scoring on those defensive plays. So if you take those two out, it's a 21-7 game, and that could change everything. So with that being the case, you mentioned the yellow laundry that we were seeing all over the field. Both sides picked up quite a few penalties for week one, but that's pretty typical. Yeah. But for you guys offensively, you were seeing some interesting, you know, procedure before the snap. How are you guys going to try to adjust that? You mentioned that there were some adjustments you'd like to make for week two. How are you going to try to limit the penalties here in week two?
A couple things off the top of my head. You know, getting inside the numbers before breaking to our spot, and having the referees understand that sometimes we flip-flop formations. And so our guys are lined up inside the numbers, and then they flip because we're in a different set. They come across the field, and if they go directly out, they were calling us for a penalty there when it really isn't, because they're set inside the numbers at the beginning of it. So the communication piece before we break. And then we had another one with an equipment issue. The equipment issue, it was like an armband or something that was on, and there was supposedly a warning, but he got a 15-yarder. He was told to take it off, and supposedly he didn't take it off right away, so he gave him a 15-yard. Those little things, we've talked to him about it. We just got to make sure that they do it. And then the pass interference calls, really, you know, they could go either way type of deal. We had one that was offensively. I didn't see it. We still talk about it. We still address it. What is pass interference to us, and what should we be looking for? What should we be doing differently? And then some of the personal fouls, I saw we had one kid run for a personal foul that we saw that was blatant, that was bad. We take care of those. They run afterwards. We really reprimand them for that, and we discipline them. If we see it in the game, we pull them, and sometimes if it's bad enough, they won't go back in. A couple of the other ones we did not see, and so if it's one of those where they got a 15-yard, we'll accept it. You know, we'll move forward with it. But if we don't see it on film, we don't see anything that was blatantly obvious, then we don't punish them for that. So it was up and down. You know, some were the one was really obvious, and there were two other ones that weren't obvious. You know, guys blocking to the whistle and finishing their block like they're taught to. So it just depends. But we have plenty of things we need to fix, and I'm looking forward to a cleaner game, just on both sides. I just want it to be cleaner. I want our drives not to stop based on something that happened. I just want it cleaner overall. That'd be nice.
Your team's general ability to utilize special teams as a strength was still a strength. Jaden Van Rukel had a great night punting the ball. We didn't get a chance to see Aaron Blum, you know, kick any field goals, but you have that in your back pocket as well on a windy night.
You bet.
So what did you think about that third phase of the game and what you saw from your team there?
Coach Stern did a good job getting everybody ready. All the other coaches are helping out in practice too. We're really emphasizing special teams this year, again, even more so. So I thought we did a good job with return yards. We had good field position when we did return. I thought Tyler did a good job. Jaden did a great job kicking the ball. They got to return one, and it was for very minimal yards. So we reached our goal there as well. So I'm happy overall with the way things went. I do want to mention the Aaron Blum thing while I'm thinking about it. He was, we thought about using him early. We had a couple of field goals we could have kicked that were deep. He had been out all week with an injury during practice. And so that was in the back of my head as we were getting ready. Do we want to kick it? Do we not want to kick it? And so that decision ultimately came down to the coaches talking and saying he's been hurt all week. He hasn't kicked a lot. Put him in that pressure situation, or do we try to hit him right off the bat? And so we took a little risk there, but it was a calculated risk. The reason he didn't kick a really long one early is because he had been injured, and we didn't feel great about that length. So we didn't want to put him on the spot. So that's what we were thinking as coaches. I know a lot of people ask, or that maybe second guess or just ask questions. I wonder why. So maybe that'll clear it up a little bit. But he's been feeling a lot better, and he actually played in our JV game, and he's been doing well. So we're ready to use him whenever we can.
Yeah, what you're talking about, I mean, that was significant. That was over 45 yards, a couple of chances to maybe kick a 45-yarder, but most high schools don't even have to think about that because they don't have a kid that can reach that length. So decent problem to have there, Coach. One of the last questions I want to ask you here is, even when we're doing the broadcast, sometimes we get too caught up in where the ball is, or too caught up in one specific storyline when one team has the ball and we're looking for one thing. You get a chance to kind of go through with the coach goggles and figure out who may have had good games that we weren't able to really see. So who are a couple of guys that really stood out to you from week one that maybe didn't get their share of eyeballs on them or didn't get a chance to get said too much in our week one broadcast?
That's a really good question. I've said it over and over to our coaches, and we talked, our captains. I mean, our captains stepped up in a big way, and it's funny who your captains are, as they're your leaders, but they all had good games. So Blake Van Veldhuizen on line of scrimmage, I think was probably the best player on the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's a big statement, but he really had a pretty good game up front. Then we also have Alex DeYoung on the perimeter. I thought he played pretty well overall. He's really a tough-nosed kid. And so with those guys, Jared Cruz is also another one. Cruz went both ways. I kept asking him over and over, are you tired? Do you need to come out? Do you need a break? And he's a man of few words, but he was like, Coach, I'm fine, and I'm going to be fine the rest of the game. You don't need to ask. I'm going to play every play until this thing is over. Really had to pick six. You know, that was another questionable call there. Did they get a timeout called before it? Well, they snapped. They had time to read a screen and throw a screen, and he had a chance to pick it. I mean, that was a really, really late whistle. I'm a little frustrated by that because Cruz had to pick six. So that would have been huge. Coulda, woulda, shoulda type of deal. Tanner DeCock was the other one too. He was our black shirt of the week. And so he got guys lined up. He played really, really hard. He didn't complain. He didn't point fingers. And he played well on offense too. So our captains did what we expect them to do, lead vocally and by example. So I'm excited for those four guys. And I know they're going to continue to do it as long as they can.
Coach, last question for you here. When you talk about this week's game and you know the opponent is a team that you did beat last year, a team that you hope you can go on the road and beat again this year, you're still looking for a few guys to maybe elevate to that spot that we'll be talking about them at this time next week. Who are some guys that you think are primed for a big game that may not get a whole lot of love coming up on Friday night?
That's another good question. I'm going to stick with offense this time because I'm so defensive minded. So let's look for Seth Howard to have a big game. Let's look at Casey Hill on both sides of the ball. And I'll even throw out a young kid, Tyler Miller. Let's see how those three guys do. I expect them to step up in a big way, and I expect them to do some good things.
Coach Jenkins, always fun talking to you about your football team. We're excited to see how things go. Of course, people can check out the broadcast this week, and that is going to be one of the things that is impressive about Oskaloosa is the fact that we're going to be traveling so many people and fans that'll be checking out the game as well. So as we do that, be sure to check out the broadcast coming up on Friday night. You can watch it live on MCG Channel 7 as well as RadioKMZN.com. And also, you'll be able to listen to it live on 99.5 FM and AM 740 KMZN, and of course on the KMZN mobile app worldwide. Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck Friday.
Thank you very much.
All right, we will be back. Come back with more on the Hy-Vee Homestretch here on the No Coast Network.
Save big at Hy-Vee on everything you need for Labor Day weekend. Get 8 brats free when you buy 8 hamburgers. Ground beef only $1.99. Hy-Vee hamburger or hot dog buns just 68 cents. Family-size Lay's or kettle-cooked chips just $1.48. And bags of Bugles, Chex Mix, or Gardettos only $1. For these great deals and hundreds more, visit HyVeeDeals.com.
Welcome back. We're live here on the Hy-Vee Homestretch, back at your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Still have just under a half hour to come and enjoy that $8 New York strip meal, so be sure to come check that out. In the meantime, you can listen to me talk William Penn University soccer now. I'm being joined by Michael Conchi, graduate assistant. Michael, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. A few weeks ago, I had a chance to talk to you just before the guys got back to campus. Now the guys are on campus. You're a couple of games into the season, and I think the most important thing that we need to mention is the fact that William Penn soccer hasn't dropped a game on either the men's or the women's side. How have the first few weeks gone?
Really well. We come in start of August. Boys look really sharp and fit. We hosted a fitness test, which went really well. So we were straight at it, straight from the first day. And they've come in and we've looked at a couple of different things. And as you say, we haven't dropped any points yet. And to start off against Bellevue, we're receiving votes at a minute, and to get a tie there was a good solid start. And then to follow it up a couple of days ago was even better. So we're really pleased at the minute, and it's important that we keep pushing on and doing what we can.
Right, and you are working more on the men's side of things, and that's important to note because the head coach on the men's side, Jamie Highcock, the last couple of years, he's built a nice foundation for the program, but now he's also the head women's soccer coach. Not something you see a whole lot of not at the collegiate level, not at the high school level a whole lot either. So you and the coaching staff have kind of been reconfigured a little bit. There's been a full-time assistant added as well. And so far, Jamie's got to feel pretty good. He's 2-0 on the women's side. First time the women at William Penn University for soccer, 2-0 since 2003 when they started 4-0. And then the men 1-0-1 so far this season. So how has that dynamic kind of been for you guys as coaches and for the team as a whole, having, Jamie, splitting time with both the men and the women?
Well, first of all, Jamie's doing a great job of splitting both programs. A couple of players were a little bit apprehensive at the start, but I mean, it's gone really well, as you can see by the results. And Simon's come in this year as an associate head coach, and he's added a new dimension to it. And both of them are working closely with both programs, and it's just another opportunity for myself and Renato, the other assistant, to step up and take the reins a little bit and get more involved, which has been a lot of fun for us. And as you say, we've started off really brightly, and hopefully we can keep that going.
You played your alma mater, Bellevue, in that first game, and although it was a tie, very, very encouraging against the team receiving votes, and then picking up a nice win via shutout. And Caleb Pipes-Gouldsboro looked amazing in that game against Waldorf on Tuesday. A win like that is a good way to kind of build a season before you dig into conference play. What did you see from the guys, especially a cast of characters that we're not super familiar with? What did you see from the team on Tuesday?
Well, I think there's more of a togetherness in our team this year. A couple of the guys I was chatting to, they were saying that they're all friends, which obviously makes a massive difference in any organisation. But to start off and get a tie against Bellevue, we equalised with 12 seconds to go on the clock to take it into overtime, and that shows that we can dig in when it matters as well. And the Waldorf game, scored 2 goals within the first 10 minutes, and going forward, it was a really solid performance. It wasn't the prettiest of performances, but we went there, we got the job done, and as you said, so did the girls as well. So the bus on the way home was definitely happy, but like I said, we're showing a lot more grit and desire to make sure that we don't give up and we can keep digging in till the end. And Waldorf is a strong outfit as well, and I think they'll do really well in their conference this year. And as I say, it's been a bright start, and we just need to make sure that we don't get carried away and keep our feet on the ground.
This team has, as I mentioned, a lot of different names and faces than they would have noticed for William Penn soccer supporters even as recently as last year. Take me through some of the guys that have surprised you, not only on the pitch in practice, but so far in your first couple of games.
Yeah, so obviously we've got a lot of new players this year from all parts of the world. We've got Diego Navarro who's come in. He's scored a couple of goals straight away. He's a big target player, plays up front. Hopefully he can keep up that, keep up scoring his goals. Joe Minton's come in. He can play literally anywhere along the back line. He's been a revelation, if I'm being honest, as a freshman. And he's stepped up and taken more of a leadership role as well, which is great to see, because it sort of builds the foundation for him over the next 4 years. And players that have been here before, we were talking about Steve Lee previously, who was sort of in and out the team last year, was on the JV, got into the team towards the end, and he's been excellent since he's come in and scored a couple of goals, which the boys are really excited about. He's a great character. So competition for places is going really well, and each week we're trying to test and challenge the boys to make sure that we've got the strongest possible 11 out there.
One of the important factors of your 11 is your goalkeeper, and getting tested frequently in your game on Tuesday against Waldorf was Caleb Pipes-Gouldsboro. Didn't have him at the beginning of the season last year. Now you have him from the outset this year. What is the difference in his development, knowing that he wasn't even really a soccer player at this time 12 months ago, and now he picked up 9 huge saves, including 7 in the second half against Waldorf to preserve your shutout?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, last year we had a bit of a goalkeeping crisis, and he come in last year halfway through and he saved us basically. And ever since then, I've seen a massive difference in him. He looks more confident. He's challenging himself every day. He always wants to improve, and he's actually our captain this year. He's one of our captains, and he's taken a leadership role, which is obviously great to see as a senior. And not only that, like I mentioned before, we've got a lot more competition this year. We now have 5 goalkeepers that have come in. Guillermo's currently our number 2, and if the opportunity comes and he plays, we'd have no issue putting him in. But yeah, Caleb great performance on Tuesday. You know, as you say, he made a lot of saves, certainly in the second half. And, you know, there's going to be times when you need your goalkeeper to bail you out. I don't care how good or bad a team is, you're going to need your goalkeeper at some point. But yeah, he's been fantastic, and as I say, he's improving every day. Hopefully he can finish his senior season very strong.
William Penn soccer, not necessarily known as a world power by any means, but Jamie has built a nice foundation for the men's side, and he's working on doing the same with the women's side. We were kind of talking off the air that a little bit over 500, you know, right down the pipe in a tough conference. Not only would that put you in good position in the conference tournament, which you guys have excelled in the last couple of years, but also an opportunity to maybe get a school record for wins. I know that's not necessarily on your guys' radar, but you know the schedule is tough, and you're going to be ready and battle tested by the time these games really start mattering later in October and November. What is the kind of feel and vibe about what you guys might be able to accomplish on the men's side this year?
Well, I mean, after the start we've had and the performances that we've shown, where, you know, us as a staff, and I can tell the players as well, are really excited about, you know, what we can do this year. Each season's different. All teams lose players, all teams add players, and we believe we've added a lot of quality into our team this year. As you say, the conference is probably the toughest one in the country, but you know, that's what you want as a college player. You want to be tested, you want to be challenged every week, and our players have got the opportunity to do that, and they know that. And our schedule, you know, is tough going into the conference, so there's going to be no easy games by any means. But as I say, we're really excited. We're pleased at what we've seen so far, and you know, hopefully we can keep that going and you know, make a run for the playoffs, if you like, towards the end.
Well, that's what we're going to be looking for. The next step in that is a doubleheader at Lacey Recreation Complex coming up on Saturday, as William Penn will be hosting Cardinal Stritch in non-conference action starting at noon coming up this Sunday at the Lacey Complex. And Michael, we're real excited to see how this team goes and how they continue to progress on the men's side especially. Congratulations on the great start, and we'll talk to you again later this year.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Michael Conchi, graduate assistant, William Penn soccer. We are going to talk William Penn football after this. Defensive coordinator Clayton Norbrick will be joining me. That's coming up after the break right here on the HyVeeHomestretch on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today. Save big at Hy-Vee on everything you need for Labor Day weekend. Get 8 brats free when you buy 8 hamburgers. Ground beef only $1.99. Hy-Vee hamburger or hot dog buns just 68 cents. Family-size Lay's or kettle-cooked chips just $1.48. And bags of Bugles, Chex Mix, or Gardettos only $1. For these great deals and hundreds more, visit HyVeeDeals.com.
Back here live at your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, the Hy-Vee Homestretch on the air. And I'm being joined now by the defensive coordinator for William Penn University football, Clayton Norberg. Coach, how's it going?
Good. Good to be here.
This is your first time on the Homestretch.
Yes, first time.
We're excited to have you here, and it's an important week for William Penn because the first thing we need to talk about, your season started last Saturday against the second-ranked team in the nation,
right.
The best team in the Heart of America Athletic Conference in 2016, the team that you guys had your worst game of 2016
Yes.
against in Baker, and you guys nearly were pulled the road upset after a long trip to Baldwin City, Kansas. I know it didn't end with the win, but for you personally, how big of a confidence boost is it knowing you can play with the best team out of this conference?
For me personally, just as a coach, calling a game against Baker, the first 2 times we actually played them in 15 and 16, I didn't feel like we put, as a defensive staff, put our guys in a great spot to be successful, to keep up with their team speed. So as a coaching staff, we put a good scheme together for a team that has really had our number, and then just see our guys go out and perform that scheme to, take that game plan and really run with it and put a team that was runner-up in the country last year and scored a lot of points on us and everybody really, and put them in some bad spots and hold them 3 and outs and different big stops like that, is a huge confidence builder. And we know that we can play with anybody right now.
Well, the way this conference is set up, the South and North Division winners get automatic berths, and you guys want to win as many of these crossover games as you can to kind of help what could be an at-large berth, but you know you're going to have a really good shot when you get into that North Division play to get that automatic berth. So you don't want to call it a preseason, but just 2 real separate seasons here, and you really knock out the 3 toughest crossover games right off the bat. Yeah. Baker being the toughest, Missouri Valley and Mid-American Nazarene. We've seen you guys play 2 incredibly close contests against both of those teams your first 2 years in this conference. So going into the Missouri Valley game on the road, coming up this Saturday, what has been this week of practice, and what have been some of the keys defensively you're hoping that your team can go out there and execute?
Yeah, the big thing with these crossover games, you want to call it the preseason before we start conference play, is we do start off tough to begin with. And we always say if we come out of here 2-1 in these first 3 games, obviously we want to win them all, but those 3 games that you got to go on the road and 2 of them, and we got to be ready to play. So we lost to Baker, so we got to buckle down, and the ranking doesn't matter a ton, but when you're talking about those at-large bids, they're huge. If you're not in the rankings high enough, you're not going to get those. So this week of practice, we've been talking that what we did against Baker doesn't win us a game against Mo Valley. We have to go and prepare and work hard, and just because they lost 2 doesn't mean like, hey, they're going to be a pushover. They're not as good as people are expecting them to be, and we took Baker down to a minute and a half and had a chance to win it. That doesn't mean anything. They want to get to 1-1 too. They want to make sure they win their crossover games. So just prepare. We prepared a long time to prepare for Baker. They were week 1. We knew we had a challenge. So all camp you're thinking about Baker. Now we got 3 days to prepare for Mo Valley. You can't overlook them and think they're going to lay down for you just because you played Baker tough.
Tough to start the year with 2 road games against 2 teams ranked in the top 12 in the nation. Baker obviously ranked number 2. Missouri Valley's ranked number 12, and that's been kind of where they've been since we got in this conference. They are a good team out of this South Division. So scheme-wise, a few years ago, before you became the defensive coordinator, a change was kind of made in the scheme, kind of making a secondary guy into just this weird mix of, I think the Bronco is
the Bronco.
Yeah, he's a linebacker. He can be a lineman. He can come and run support, also cover somebody. That gives you a lot of options and a lot of flexibility defensively. So who are some of the athletes that you are relying on this year after you lost a great linebacker class? You lost your nose tackle last year. You lost a great cornerback coming from last year. So who are some of the pieces that have helped build this defense in 2017?
You bet. Well, you talked about that Bronco. Winston Green was a second-team all-conference player at that position last year, and he's a kind of guy that we rely on to do all those different things. It takes a special player to roll down, and we'll actually put him back in the high hole and do some things that a safety would do, and walk down and do a lot in the box too. So it takes a special guy to do a lot of different things. Relying on Mason Wissey a lot in the linebacking core, a first-team all-conference player coming back. But it's great because we have a bunch of guys that played last year too, and Jake Baptiste is a senior in that group. So we got great leadership. Jake knows the defense and been starting for 3 years now. Clive Manuel was started a lot as a freshman last year and still rotates with Aaron Allen in that group. And we're looking, Leandre Fisher had a knee injury. We're looking to get him back here soon. Secondary-wise, we had some, guys that needed to step up, and Kyle Baldessari's been a staple for us at safety, really the get everybody lined up guy. And then Dejan Shaw is a returning corner that, we said, Ant's not here, you got to be the guy. And Brandon Davis showed his capability with an interception, a great play against Baker, a long return that he can be a force to reckon with in the secondary. And then really the strength of our defense is up front. We lost Hunter Berry and a great nose tackle, and Malik Young. Both were a great 1-2 punch, and now we've got some speed though that people can't keep up with. That we moved Anthony Jackson to play nose a little bit, and we got after Baker's quarterback a lot better than we had in the past. And a good pass rush makes our secondary a lot better. That we were in his face, hitting him, getting some sacks.
With the scheme that you guys have and all the different things that you can do, also really important to win the special teams game. And I know that's something that's near and dear to your heart, especially at William Penn. You did a lot with special teams before getting the defensive coordinator job. Punting is really fun when you watch William Penn and the punting. You had a successful fake punt for a big play against Baker. That rugby style, we saw Sam Tweet for a couple of years just, leg out first down runs on just designed rugby punts that he just never punted the ball. Aaron Allen's been punting, it seems like, for ever.
Right. He's been doing a great job.
Yeah. So you have that. You got guys like Tyler Wood that's back there now, and then of course having a kicker like Hunter Beam who's got the big leg,
yes.
Pretty accurate as well. That gives William Penn a little bit of an edge. Not everybody can say they have some great kickers. There are some good kickers in this conference,
Absolutely.
but from your vantage point, how important is it to have those special teams players? Because there were some really big plays that kept William Penn in that game against Baker, even though the offensive output, yardage-wise, wasn't exactly what you were looking for.
That was something as a coaching staff we stressed on Sunday after the game, that a lot of times going into week one, there's a lot of things that fall through the cracks that aren't as good, and special teams can be a lot of those, where those mishaps happen, and credit our guys for focusing in. We put the work in on special teams, and again, applying that plan of doing the fake, going and blocking a punt and scooping up and scoring, and doing all those little things to give ourselves a chance to beat the #2 team in the country takes a lot of credit. That we outplayed them in the special teams game, the kicking game. We felt 100%, and that's not easy to do game one, because you're thinking about all this other stuff. You haven't played a game yet, and our guys stepped up and really did well, and it gives you advantage. It is a third part of the game that people don't realize how many snaps, there kicks and punts and returns that actually go into it that you can turn a game with.
This weekend, you mentioned a big game. It's a night game. You guys have been at this field now before. You've had a chance to play this team before. You won a very close and well-played ball game back in 2015 on this field against this team. And last year you lost by 1 point to this team when you were trying to kind of get adjusted to life after Tyler Hafner at quarterback and try to figure out where some of your guys were. With that being said, you want to go in here and you want to win this game and you want to feel good about it. So what are some of the keys to this particular game, and what are you hoping that your defense does from what you expect to see from Missouri Valley?
Going forward, I think we got to hang our hats on turnovers, especially against Mo-Val. That Baker was so careful with the ball that Logan Bertel, he's a great quarterback, the NAIA Player of the Year. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Even the interception he threw had to be a great play by our corner. That ball was sailing out of bounds. Their guy, he's kind of Johnny Manziel. He wants to run around, try to create and make plays, and with that, he's reckless with the football too. So we got to capitalize on that. We got to contain him. There's an edge to it where he does create plays and does some great things. In the end, we got to turn it into our favor. When he makes a mistake, we got to get the bad throw. We got to take it. If he puts the ball on the ground, we got to scoop it up and make the best out of it. And so, eliminate big plays. Don't let him run around and do something stupid that turns and hurts us. And when he wants to do something stupid, make him pay for it.
One player that you think is primed for a big game that could really turn the scales in your team's favor defensively on Saturday?
Rashawn Coleman. He's up front. He was terrorizing Baker's tackles left and right. He was all over the field. He's our defensive end. So Bertel from Baker was a guy, get it on time. Mo Valley's quarterback likes to pat it around and try to create. So if he wants to sit there and hold on to the ball, I think our defensive ends have a chance to get after the quarterback, get home quite a few times. So if he hangs on to that football, I think Rashawn Coleman can get home and make a lot of great plays for us.
Well, we're interested to see how that happens. William Penn football in action this Saturday night. You can listen to the game live, 5:45. We'll be starting the broadcast. Nick Rule, the new athletics director, he is going to be on the call along with Greg Hafner. You'll be able to hear that live on 99.5 FM and AM 740, KMZN and radio KMZN.com. Clayton, thanks so much for giving us some time, and good luck on Saturday.
You bet. Thank you, man.
All right, that is Clayton Norberg, defensive coordinator, William Penn University football. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up, tell you what to expect the rest of this week right here on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today. Save big at Hy-Vee on everything you need for Labor Day weekend. Get 8 brats free when you buy 8 hamburgers. Ground beef only $1.99. Hy-Vee hamburger or hot dog buns, just 68 cents. Family-sized Lay's or kettle-cooked chips, just $1.48. And bags of Bugles, Chex Mix, or Gardettos, only $1. For these great deals and hundreds more, visit HyVeeDeals.com.
Welcome back one final time as the Hy-Vee Homestretch live in your hometown, Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Once again, a fantastic show. I'd like to thank all of my guests this evening. William Penn University defensive coordinator for their football team, Clayton Norberg, along with William Penn University graduate assistant for soccer, Michael Conchi. Jake Jenkins, a chance to catch up with him earlier this week. I'd like to thank him for giving us some time as well. And, of course, the volleyball coach for Oskaloosa High School, Jennifer Comfort, and her senior star player, Josie Bennell, for joining us here live from the hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. Along with that, we have plenty coming up the rest of this week, and we'll start with Oskaloosa football on the air live from Grinnell High School. Oskaloosa travels for their first road game of the 2017 year. You can listen to that live on 99.5 FM and AM 740 KMZN with a live video stream on radiokmzn.com as well as on MCG Channel 7 with the help of the Oskaloosa video production crew. So be sure to join us for that starting at 7 p.m. on that one. 7:30 the kickoff time scheduled for Oskaloosa at Grinnell. Our game of the week is going to be live from Eddyville this week. Eddyville-Blacksburg Fremont is hosting Sigourney Keota. Kylie Broadway, Brian Myers on the call for that one. The game of the week live on 104.9 FM KBOE, KBOEradio.com, and the KBOE mobile app starting at about 6:30 with the broadcast, 7 p.m. the scheduled kickoff for that one. That is going to be a fun one between Sigourney Keota and EBF. Both of those teams looking for their first win of the season. Following those games, be sure to stay tuned for Scores and More presented by Bubbler. You'll be able to hear all the scores from our listening area, some reports from all of our area schools, and the games that they are playing on Friday night, and you're not going to want to miss that. After the games go final, tune in live on 104.9 FM KBOE, as well as on 99.5 FM and AM 740 KMZN, as well as KBOEradio.com for Scores and More presented by Bubbler to wrap up a football Friday night. That'll do it for us. I'd like to thank Titus Letzering, our director here live at your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, and Alyssa Phillips back in the No Coast Network studios. For everybody at the No Coast Network, I'm Emery Songer signing off. This has been the Hy-Vee Homestretch live from your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee on the No Coast Network.